If it were possible to forgive and forget anyone from your past so that your present relationships could thrive, would you do it? And what if I told you not only can you forgive and forget anyone from your past, but you also can learn this powerful process in one weekend? Would you try it? Well, stick with me to the end and I'll show you just how to forgive and forget anyone from your past relationships so that you can move forward with your present. First, let's start with relationship. What is a relationship? A relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or state of being connected. So right now we have a dilemma. After going through a separation or a divorce, there's still some lingering feelings or emotions that need to be forgiven. The problem is most of us don't take enough time to process those things before we actually move forward to another relationship or the next relationship. And the problem with this is a lot of people find themselves in a similar position going through similar issues with a different person in a different relationship. One of the biggest causes of this is not taking enough time to process what has happened in your previous relationships so that you won't make the same mistakes going forward. And another point that we must make here is that there's one person that's been in all of these relationships, and that person is you. So sometimes we have to take the opportunity while we're in the middle of a relationship or at the beginning of a new relationship, if you've already taken that step, and really just process what has been going on, not only in our hearts and in our minds, but what has been going on in our previous relationships. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about a process that will help you walk through those steps so that you can move forward more peaceful, powerful, and purposeful in your current relationship or your next relationship. Okay, so I just want to tell you a quick story here. I have a client right now that's in a new relationship. When I say new relationship, it's somewhere around the 6-month mark, and you would think that everything would be going pretty smooth in that honeymoon phase of their relationship right now. When I speak with this client, she expressed the fact that even though she's very hopeful about the situation, that it's not going smooth at all. In fact, she's noticed that some of the very things that caused strife in her previous relationship is the same things that she's facing in this current relationship. And this is often the case when someone has gone through a separation or a divorce from a relationship that lasted for many years without taking time in between to really process what has gone on in your previous relationship, how you truly feel about it, and how you can show up better in a future relationship. You see, during a separation or divorce, whether you rekindle your relationship or not, it's an excellent time to reflect on your relationship and to see how you can bring a better you to the next relationship and ultimately have a better relationship moving forward. Okay, now let's talk about the simplified system that I have for you to process your past and present relationships so that you can forgive and forget your past and move forward more peaceful, powerful, and purposeful in the future so that you can have thriving relationships moving forward. Okay? So the first step in this process is to discover the who's. All right? So each of us have gone through situations in our lives and circumstances that have caused us fear, pain, and just emotional scars in some way or another. And today we're talking about forgiving and forgetting the emotional pain of your ex, okay? So that we can move forward in our present relationships. And in this process, to be honest with you, we are going to start with the who as being your ex, but you will find that the ex may be the one that you're putting the face on at the moment, is the one that's getting the bulk of the, I guess you would say, blame in this situation. But really, you're going to find that there are other connections and there's other people that we're going to have to include into this process in order for you to truly move forward in a more peaceful way where you really feel at peace and ready to move forward. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is put your ex as the first who, okay? All right? Next, I want you to also think of some of those other connections, some of those situations and circumstances that may have felt familiar to whatever it is that you experienced with your ex, okay? So this could be maybe the person that you dated before then, or it could be your first high school sweetheart, or it could actually be a relationship that you may not have actually been in yourself, but you have observed the relationship, such as with relatives or even your own parents, that have caused you some emotional scars that you can really clearly see the connection. There will be some other things that you may not clearly see the connection, but let's just start off with the things that you clearly see the connection for right now. Put those people down, all right? Step number 2 will be the what, all right? So this is where you say exactly what that person did to you, all right? For example, the who is your ex, all right? So what did they do to you? The what they actually did to you could have been they didn't defend you when their mother attacked you, okay? Now this could be a verbal attack, it could be a physical attack, it could be any type of attack. The point is that they didn't defend you, okay? Your ex didn't defend you, and that was just the final straw for you, okay? Whatever your what is for you, then I want you to put that down, okay? You can start with what was your final straw, okay? And then let's work our way back, because when you have a situation such as a relationship or any intimate situation, it could even be a coworker or someone, there's going to be multiple things that this one person did to you that you would consider to be the what they did, okay? All right? So after you feel like you've written down all the what's for your ex, whatever other names that you decided to put on this paper, I want you to do the same thing with the next name, okay? I want you to put the what, the exactly what did they do to you to cause you any type of emotional pain in any type of way, any type of emotional scar that you can think of, especially if it's connected to what you're experiencing or what you feel, the emotions that you feel towards your ex. But if you feel any type of emotional scars or any type of pain or any type of insecurities or any type of fear that you would say is connected in any type of way to any other person, then I want you to put that person down and the what it was, the exactly what it was, okay? Now this part is really important, that you put exactly what it is that they did to you, and we'll speak more about that in a moment, okay? All right? So the next step will be what you made it mean, all right? So in this step, you're going to take the what that you just wrote down a few minutes ago, and you're right beside it, you're going to say what you made it mean. For example, the what for your ex, the first one that we had was that they didn't defend you against their mom, all right? Their mom was totally wrong, whatever the case may be. She verbally attacked you. Your husband just sat right there, or your wife just sat right there and didn't say anything to defend you, and that was the final straw for you. So that was the what, is that your spouse didn't defend you. And what you made it mean is what we're going to write now. For example, what you made it mean that they didn't defend you is that they put someone else's happiness before yours, or you weren't important to them enough for them to defend you, or you've always found yourself being alone in tough situations. Okay? So at this point, you will put down what you made it mean. All right? So here's another thing I want you to consider. When you finally do have your what you made it mean on the right column, and you have the what they actually did to you on your left, I want you to examine it too. I want you to compare and make sure that when you did the initial what, that it wasn't actually a what you made it mean statement that you wrote down, okay? All right, so this is when you really get specific. You're going to ask yourself, exactly what did they say? All right? Exactly what did they do? And not what you made it mean, but exactly what did they say or do? This is the part that you're going to forgive them for, okay? Now, you can't expect for someone to carry the weight or for you to be able to forgive someone for everything that you made it mean. What you're going to forgive them for is exactly what they did to you, okay? So we have to get really clear of the exact thing that happened here, okay? All right? So another thing when we're considering the what you made it mean, there's some facts to what actually happened, and then there's perception of what you made it mean. Now, when it comes to the perception of what you made it mean, that could be closely connected to things from your past, from previous relationships or previous things that you encountered, previous scars that you've had emotionally, previous fears and doubts that you had that really, I won't say that they're not associated with this situation, but they aren't at the root of what you're feeling, okay? So it's really important to get clear on that in this phase, and the best and most simple way that I've discovered to separate the two is for you to forgive them for exactly what they did and understand exactly what they did versus what you made it mean, okay? All right. So the next step to this process is to have a forgiveness declaration, all right? So I know for some of you, I'm saying, okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to forgive this person or not. Well, that's the key, is whether you're ready to forgive this person or not. Because if you are ready to forgive this person, really with the intent of forgiving them so that you can move forward and that you can have better relationships going forward, and so that you can have the most important relationship, which is the right relationship with yourself, okay? That doesn't involve having unforgiveness in your heart for anyone, okay? For not having fear and anxiety and doubt for yourself and the relationships that you are moving forward in, that you're able to not hold that against those people moving forward because you haven't took the time to process and clear these people by a forgiveness process such as this, okay? All right. So let me give you my definition of forgiveness, okay? Forgiveness is saying, I no longer need or expect anything from this person, which is your ex, in order for you to be okay. All right? So you no longer need or expect anything from this person in order for you to be okay. All right? So if you're truly moving forward, you may or may not have any communication or contact with your ex, okay? And some of the other names on your list may be people that you haven't spoke to in years, you haven't seen in years. And with this forgiveness declaration, what you're actually saying is that right now, I'm choosing to move forward. Right now, I'm choosing to be at peace. Right now, I'm choosing to forgive so that I can truly say that I'm okay moving forward with or without you. Okay? So that's what the forgiveness declaration is going to do, all right? So let me show you how this forgiveness declaration works, all right? You just clearly say, let's just say that your ex name is Sam, okay? So it's just simple as this, saying, Sam, I forgive you for not defending me with your mom. It's just that simple, okay? Now, I know that some things may be a little bit more difficult to say that truly believe it and be ready to move forward, okay? And I understand that. And for those things that seem like they're too difficult for you to say that, believe it, and move forward, then move to the next thing on the list. Something that you feel like at the time wasn't quite as big to you, something that wasn't quite as impactful for you in that moment. Start with those things and maybe work your way up to the bigger things, all right? But the key to this is you choosing to say that you're going to forgive this person. You choosing to say, okay, I'm going to be okay going forward. That's what I'm choosing for myself. So it's not so much that you're choosing to trust this person going forward, or that you're choosing to be in a relationship or not with this person moving forward. It's just truly just saying that I'm choosing to be at peace. I'm choosing to be free. I'm choosing to move forward with my life. And this is part of the process by saying this declaration to help you do so, okay? All right. So we definitely could talk about this a little bit more, but I just want to make this process as simple as possible for you. And I also want to just point this out. There'll be some things on this list that will feel really difficult to forgive for. Why? Because those things have been very difficult to live with and to carry around with you. What you have to decide is it more difficult for me to carry these things around with me, or is it more difficult for me to forgive and get rid of these things from my life? That's the choice that you have to make. That's what you have to decide today, okay? So when you do decide that you're going to make this forgiveness declaration, I want you to know that when you've truly forgiven these people, you may feel a huge weight lifted off yourself, okay? But even if you don't feel a huge weight lifted off yourself in the moment, know that even for the things that you consider to be small things, those little pebbles being lifted off your back on your journey will make your life a little easier, a little lighter, a little less to carry, okay? So even if you start with those smaller things and you keep getting rid of those little pebbles, and then you move maybe to those bigger rocks, and then eventually make your way to those bigger real stones that's in your backpack. Each step in that process will make things less of a load to carry. You'll find yourself being more at peace with each step that you take, okay? And that's what I want for you. I want you to experience peace in your life. I want you to experience freedom in your life. The freedom that will give you joy, that will motivate you, that will cause you to overcome fear and anxiety and trust issues, so that you can move forward with or without that person or any other person. See, the goal is for you to become a better person, okay? And in the process, you get rid of some things, okay? In that process, you get rid of some people. And when I say get rid of some people, I'm saying that there's people that you haven't seen in years, but you're carrying them around with you, okay? They may have long since forgotten about you. They may have long since forgotten what they did to you that caused you any pain, or maybe didn't even know that they did affect you in the way that they did, but you're still carrying them around with you. Well, I'm saying you have to lose those people in those situations so that you can move forward with your current situation and even future situations, okay? And this all starts with you. So that's why we're doing this process today, so that you can experience that freedom. And along with that freedom comes more intentional, better relationships going forward, all right? All right? So now that we have covered the who, the what you made it mean, a forgiveness declaration, and now we're going to move to the last and final step of this process, which is what are you going to make it mean to move forward, okay? What are you going to make it mean moving forward, all right? So this is when you change the way that you've been seeing, the way that you've been responding to things in your past. This is when you're able to take the connection that you formerly had with a person, such as your ex, and all the things that you've gone through in that situation that caused you not to have the trust that you need going forward, not having the vulnerability that's needed to have an intentional, thriving relationship, okay? So this is when you take the situations that connect you to other people from your past and you change that connection, okay? All right? So the people may or may not still be there. The situations and the facts of what have happened aren't going to change, okay? But the way that you perceive it moving forward could change everything. And this is where I'm asking you to change everything, okay? You change everything by asking yourself, what do I need this situation to mean going forward? All right? So this is where you take what you made it mean, and then beside that, you write what you're going to make it mean going forward. All right? So based off of the example I gave you earlier, where the person was your ex, Sam, and what they did, they didn't defend you with their mom. What you made it mean is that they didn't care for you. You always find yourself being alone in situations instead of being defended and taken care of in situations, okay? What you make it mean going forward for you is that, it could be, is that I'm strong, I'm independent, and God has given me everything needed pertaining to life and godliness to be more than a conqueror, okay? Meaning that you can do whatever it is in life that you need to do in life to move forward, okay? Not only to move forward, but to thrive and to conquer situations, all right? Now, this is just an example I'm giving you off the top of my head, but whatever you make it mean for you going forward, or you need whatever you need to make it mean for you going forward. So for each thing that we've had on this list, the what's and the what you made it mean, you're going to take and transform that into what you need to make it mean going forward, okay? All right? So this process, it isn't necessarily an easy process, but it is a simplified process. And it will take you from feeling frustrated, experiencing relationships that seem to repeat the same process over and over, leaving you disappointed, hurt, not being able to trust others, whether it's in an intimate relationship such as a marriage or seriously dating. But just one weekend of seriously applying this process to your life will change everything, okay? So I've given you this process. You have a choice to make. And hopefully that choice that you make will be to forgive and to forget anyone from your past so that you can have a thriving future. This is Tori Bryant, your transformation simplificator, and I look forward to talking with you soon.